Signal lost, the siren frequency. They say not all ghosts wear chains. Some show up barefoot, standing in the middle of a highway, singing songs only broken men can hear. I've driven nearly every major interstate across the lower 48, mountain ranges, desert flats, coastlines soaked in rain. But there's one stretch of road I'll never travel again. Mile marker 237. That's where I met them, the Sirens. It was past midnight, the kind of dark that swallows your headlights whole. I was hauling a refrigerated load southbound, halfway between D.C. and nowhere. A dead-end contract with just enough pay to cover the rent I was 2 months behind on. I hadn't seen my daughter in almost a year. Missed her 11th birthday last week, same way I missed her 10th, and the 9 before that. 10 years in the Navy, then private security, then freelance gigs that paid in blood and guilt. After all of it, I thought truck driving would be quieter, cleaner. I was wrong. Somewhere east of Bell's Hollow, I stopped for gas at a run-down station that looked like it belonged in a post-apocalyptic movie. Fluorescent lights flickered overhead. The man behind the counter had eyes like he hadn't slept since the Reagan administration. He glanced at my GPS, then leaned forward and said, "You don't go past 237, you hear? Don't stop. Don't listen. Don't look." I nodded politely. I'd heard all kinds of roadside ghost stories, crying women, phantom trucks, skinwalkers. I wasn't in the mood for campfire tales, so I filled up, grabbed a coffee, and kept moving. Around 2:30 a.m., the GPS screen blinked red, then black. Signal lost. A second later, the radio kicked on, even though I hadn't touched the dial. At first, just static. Then, music. Soft, almost classical. Like violins underwater. Haunting, beautiful, and wrong in a way I couldn't explain. The melody tugged at something inside me, something old and lonely. Then the voices came. 3 of them. Female. Pure harmony. They spoke my name. Oh. Oh. Come home. I slammed the brakes. Coffee spilled all over my lap, but I barely felt it. I was staring through the windshield, heart thundering, hands cold. 3 women stood by the roadside. No car, no lights. Just long, flowing white dresses and hair like silk shadows. One of them looked like my ex-wife. How she looked the day we married, before the deployments, and the silence changed everything. The second looked like my sister, Kayla. She died in a wreck when we were kids. And the third, she looked like my daughter, but grown, maybe 19. A future I hadn't earned the right to witness. Something deep inside screamed for me to drive, to move, but I couldn't. My hands felt like stone. I remembered the story of Odysseus, how he had himself tied to the mast to survive the Siren's song. I didn't have a mast, but I had a cargo harness. With shaking fingers, I reached behind the seat, clipped the strap across my chest, and yanked it tight. Then I stuffed paper napkins into my ears. Didn't matter. The music wasn't coming from the radio anymore. It was inside me. I jammed the truck into gear and floored the pedal. The engine roared, tires screamed against the cracked asphalt, and the road morphed. I swear to God, it stretched like taffy, rippling like a serpent beneath me. The white line spiraled inward, forming a tunnel that curved and twisted in on itself. The trees on either side blurred together into long black streaks, like brush strokes from a mad painter. My headlights barely lit the path ahead, and what they did reveal made no earthly sense. Switchbacks that looped upside down, overpasses that collapsed into nothing. I gripped the wheel so hard my knuckles split. Then came the whispers. Soft at first, then sharp, needle-pointed words slicing straight into my brain. She doesn't love you? You were never a father. You should have died out there instead of your squad. The truck tilted hard. The left wheels lifted off the ground as the rig banked into an impossible turn. My seatbelt dug into my ribs as I fought the wheel, trying to keep her from rolling. I saw a shape dart across the road, one of the women gliding barefoot across the blacktop. Not running, floating. The cab lights flickered. The speedometer spun wildly. The dashboard display glitched, flashing my daughter's name where the odometer should have been. Aria. I screamed, whether it was in fear, rage, or grief. I don't know. My eyes stung, my vision tunneled, and then a cliff. The road simply ended, like God had taken an eraser to it, nothing but black sky and the suggestion of stars below. I yanked the wheel so hard right, I thought it would snap off. The trailer jackknifed behind me, fishtailing as I slammed the brakes. Tires skidded, rubber peeled, metal howled. The rig spun. Time slowed. For a second, I saw all three Sirens standing at the edge of the drop, arms outstretched, smiling, and then impact. The truck slammed sideways into something solid. I was thrown against the window, glass cracking beneath my shoulder. The harness held, barely. Silence. Then I heard it. The sound of the wind through pine. The road was straight again. I was parked, half on, half off the shoulder, grill pressed into the trunk of a dead tree. No cliff, no spiral road, no sirens. But the GPS was still dark, and the radio still playing that haunting melody. I didn't stop until I hit a truck stop 40 miles away, pulled over, opened the door, and vomited onto the pavement. My ears were bleeding. My heart felt hollowed out. I sat there in the cab, shaking, trying to remember the sound of my daughter's laugh. It took longer than I care to admit. That was 4 years ago. I sold the truck. The radio never worked again after that night. Now, I work at a local garage and live 10 minutes from my daughter. We're rebuilding, slowly. She calls me Dad, but sometimes I catch her looking at me like she's still trying to remember who I am. Maybe that's fair. Sometimes, on clear nights, I drive out past Bell's Hollow. I stop just before 237, watch the road disappear into darkness, and I swear When the wind changes, I can hear them. 3 voices calling me home. Thank you for watching Cryptid Encounter Stories. If you enjoyed this content, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more terrifying tales of the unknown. Your support helps keep the stories alive and the monsters lurking. Until next time, stay safe, stay curious, and always keep an eye on the shadows.